So I want to start coming to you, Avanish, with the question of, when we take a look at the modern buyer statistics that we hear, so often we hear this idea that 70% or, very large percentages of research are being done before anybody ever interacts with a salesperson. So should we take that information and change our approach moving forward?
Yeah, that's right, Emma. I think that fact is documented by both research firms like Gartner and Forrester, but frankly, also by some of the companies that are selling to the marketing and sales function, right? Software companies. And as I mentioned, I've been affiliated with some of those. And thanks, Mark, for those kind words as well. And reality is 92%, 92% of B2B purchasing starts with search. And that's according to Forrester. It's not my former employer Google saying that, right? And therefore, that search process is a core aspect of kind of how do you get found. But 92% is just astonishing, right? And then also prospects trust their peers more than anybody else. So first of all, they'll talk to many of their friends, colleagues, etc., and develop a first perspective, right? So this is all happening without any contact with the vendors, right? And that's the critical point here is they're building a short list without a any real engagement, any live conversations most likely, and creating a short list of maybe two, three, four companies they might actually want to talk to. So what that tells me is that really sales and marketing have to be super, super aligned and more closely aligned than they've probably ever been before, right? And that process is iterative, it's continuous, and it's nonlinear. So what does that mean, right? It happens, all the time. Someone may read a post on LinkedIn, then they may have a private conversation with one of their buddies that I mentioned before. Then they may go to a crowdfunding, or sorry, crowd site like G2 or to a marketplace to get a look at what the reviews are. Who's doing well, who's not doing well, and then maybe go to a marketplace, one of the big hyperscalers like AWS or Google Cloud or someone else, right? Then they may download a white paper. Then they may go on YouTube and search for a video. So it's a whole slew of things. It's not we all like to think in sales or marketing, it's a very specific funnel and very sequential and, very predetermined. And I would argue that it's not, right? So underlying that, what's one of the big themes? It's about content marketing, right? It's how do you create very, very compelling content throughout that, dynamic journey so that when the prospect is looking for it and their teams are looking for it, they can find it, they can engage with it, they can really get a sense for what's going on. And I was actually talking to a CMO friend of mine recently. He's a CMO of a very major software firm, and they one of the ones who've pioneered things like product-led growth. And the amount of time his team spends on marketing content and building fantastic content for all these various iterations, it's just astonishing, right? It's mind-blowing. And it's all tied to their mission, tied to their core values. And that is basically is like, look, we've transformed how we do marketing. And it centers on two cores. One is delivering value to the prospect and the customer, right? Continuously always making sure that someone who reads their content gets value out of it. It's not just a product pitch. And two, it's earning the trust of that prospect or customer, right? So delivering value, earning trust. And those are important aspects of how you kind of become obsessed with their content. And one data he pointed to me, which I thought was mind-blowing, is the majority of the readership of their blog is from non-customers. So think about that. It's non-customers that are coming to read about your products and fix things and so on. These are people who really kind of are looking to learn and looking to learn about how and looking to learn about key issues. And that, again, is different than what I think what it used to be in my days of enterprise selling and marketing. So that's, I think, one big change. Another one I'll quickly cover, and this applies maybe to mostly larger tech companies, but still I think it's a big trend, is account-based marketing or ABM, right? And here it's, again, strong alignment between sales and marketing because the determination of who are the target accounts or the target prospects that the organization is going after, at a frankly at a named level, and then creating campaigns that drive both outbound marketing, right? So how do you personalize the content of ads even and kind of the landing pages, etc., so that the prospect really feels like you understand their business, their industry, their problems. Um, they're using tools like Demandbase, where again was one of the companies I've worked with as head of product. And how do you try to align the expectations that the customer has with the content you're delivering, right? So again, these are key themes, Emma, that I think are really different than what used to be before, around that alignment of sales and marketing, brand, product marketing, field marketing. Everybody has to work together. They may not have always been best friends, but they have to come back together.